Appreciate everybody that showed up, everybody that's here. Appreciate y'all time coming through. Any DC Comics fans in the building there? Any Constantine fans specifically? Y'all want to have some fun. We got any Constantine cosplayers in here? I saw some yesterday. All right. Any like fan filmmakers in the building? Any aspiring filmmakers in the building? Alright, because I asked that because this panel is, not only to entertain and everything, but it's also to, I hesitate to say educate, but we like to just let everybody know how we put this fan film together. This panel and this being here today is a combination of celebrating the people who helped me make this and who helped put this together, because this is a collaborative art, and I love it for that. And I'll take blame for anything that you don't like and anything that is excellent. It was a team effort, and I appreciate that. Any family and friends of the cast and crew in the building? I hope you enjoy what you see. Thank y'all for coming. Try not to do like, with the phones. Oh my God. But I know, because my family likes to take pictures and images of like the credits when they roll, because they like, my baby's name is on the screen. So feel free to do that. We'll see the credits roll if you like. But, all right. Enjoy you. Thank you. And before I do that, let me give some special shout outs to some of the people that couldn't make it here. Alexa L. Gordon did the original score. Blair Jones, who did some of the CGI. Julia Ayler, who was the one of the stunt performers, she was the one with the sword. And Shoshana Ruth Green, the one that's throwing fire at Constantine. Mike Lucinos, he's the first AD. Oh my gosh, the job he did for me. If you're a director, you don't have a first AD. Y'all gotta get first AD. Just get a first AD. Mike did so much for me. And that's here today. Vaughn, special shout out to Vaughn for recording this event. And Lorenzo, who was recording, she was a PA on set. She did a lot for us. Get yourself some PAs in the first AD, you'll be good to go when you make movies. All right, so part of the production team, I want to first bring up the man whom which this would not be happening, the writer, Hunter Klein. It was a short amount of time, he knocked it out. I guess this is what happens when you're passionate about what you do. I don't have any assigned seating or anything, so you want to see it?
You tell me where to sit. Boom. Okay, I'll get up close, we'll cut him.
There you go. Mike Nolan did the audio. That's the most important part of the movie, is the audio. The picture can look like trash, and the audio can be excellent. You still forgive it, but if the audio's trash and the picture looks great, you probably switch the channel, but we're not watching this. Mike, did excellent job, man. Appreciate it. We get down to the wire too. Like, we recently just got all the audio and everything together and rendered it and stuff, and I was surprised. Some of the stuff I didn't know he was gonna throw in there, and I was like, oh, all right. Tyler Williams, the makeup effects artist, did like 80% of the makeup effects in the movie, and the other 20%. On grand scale, Kat Tanchenko. I guess I'll be sitting here. Brandon Elmore, who did fights and stunts here. Crystal Martin, who also did stunts. And also part of the stunts and fighting team is Joseph Ray Santos. Here comes. Okay. I'm gonna just yell at y'all. Y'all can hear me from there, right? Anybody? I want them to have mics. Y'all just have to share the mic. I wanted to start the question with Hunter first, because you wrote the title. We wouldn't have it here if it wasn't for you. So I wonder how you came up with the idea that you came up with. I know I presented Constantine to you. But how did you come up with this particular idea, and did you pull from any of the source material, something like that? And if so, what source material?
Hello, is this working? Okay.
Yeah, take it off.
Ow! Take those.
Hold on. I don't get paid enough for that. Okay, so originally when Nick approached me with the idea of Constantine, I knew of Constantine. I didn't know much about Constantine. A lot of my knowledge of Constantine came from, believe it or not, like a Justice League cartoon, because I was like, okay, that's Constantine. So I started doing digging. Writers always do your research. And I found out one of the key points that got me excited was Constantine is known as one of the one of DC's biggest con men, effectively. And I was like, oh, con men, that's exciting, that's intrigue, that's a lot of manipulating situations. I'm a D&D nerd, so I essentially thought of him as a charisma-based character. So I'm like, what's the best thing I can put a charisma-based character up against? And the immediate answer from my D&D brain was Fae. Because Fae are the ultimate deal makers. You have to use the charisma, have to manipulate, have to get every word right. And I thought they would be the best possible antithesis to Constantine's whole shtick. So I started from there. I drew some inspiration from the comics. I drew inspiration from the cartoons, some animated movies, to make sure that I got all of my bases rounded so that I got the best idea of the character and the humor, because Constantine, he's got a lot of comedy to him, so I like to weave that in with the action and the drama and the intrigue.
Once you were finished the script, I mean, I know I'm the one asking the question and I'm the director, but were there any difficulties with collaborating with the director on the script, like taking the vision and
Sitting right here.
It was horrible, actually, let me tell you, no.
I want to express, if not me personally, just writers in general, when you work with a director and if you work along with the director, are there any difficulties or anything, on compromising and stuff like that, any humps or anything, jump over loops?
One of the things all writers have to be aware of is things will change. Unless you are the writer, director, producer of the script, things are going to change from your original draft. If you have a bad director, and I've had a lot, they will butcher the script to no end and you will not list it on your resume. But if you have a good director, then they will not only understand the script, but hopefully enhance it with their own experiences. The way I kind of will say it is, it's like going to a restaurant with a friend and you ask your friend to get you a glass of water. A writer expects and wants a glass of water. A bad director will come back with carbonated water, which is evil water and you should never drink it. But a good director will be like, you know what's better? Chocolate milk. They'll bring you back that chocolate milk. And at first, you don't know it's chocolate milk. I didn't know what this would look like until I saw it. So I expected water. I took that first sip. Your brain will always go haywire if you put something in your mouth that you did not expect it to be. But not like that. Not like that. When you go to take a sip of what you think is water and it's milk, there's that moment where you're surprised and basically your brain malfunctions, but once you get adjusted to it, and you will have to adjust, you realize it's even better because chocolate milk is better than water.
I will use that on my next date. But look, what do you got coming up next? Anything coming up next?
Coming up next, always building the portfolio, screenwriting competitions. I recently got hired a bit to write some scripts for a small YouTube series. It's small, but it pays money, and I like it.
Alright, Mike, you get the audio. I know I probably put you through hell. We had a meeting, me and Mike had a meeting. It was like a long meeting.
Yeah.
We're breaking down every scene of what I would like to have and what I don't want in there. Mike had some suggestions that were way better than mine. So that's one of the things, you gotta trust your team. Play your position, trust your team. If I didn't trust the writer, if I didn't trust the audio, makeup, the fights and stunts, and I went in there like I knew what I was doing, this would have been a mess. And I love what I saw up here, speaking for myself. So, and doing the audio and stuff, what are some of the best practices for people who are getting into audio? Maybe best practices on set and pre-production and post-production. What do you need from your director, and producers, and everything to make the best quality audio that you need to make?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand audio, even on set. They think they have an idea. So I think it's just being very candid and honest and open with your director about your requests, what you need to do. getting enough time from your AD to lab people up and make sure you have the best setups possible. People are running with audio or, on their own with audio, not having an actual audio tech for so long, usually when they're getting started, that it really does come down, a lot of guys get frustrated, but it really comes down to a lack of knowledge sometimes. So again, what you need is people understanding. I mean, there's little things, even for actors, not to be putting things down during their lines. It's going to kill you in post. So it's just getting that time and accepting that you're the audio tech and that you know what you're doing, and then just asking for it.
Post-production, like, do you take it to like your post-production process? Like,
So what Nate alluded to is the first step is to get a spotting session with your post person. It's really to dive into what the director wants as far as the vision goes. There's as much creativity in audio post-production, even on a drama, when there's not a lot of crazy out there things. To get the mood across, to ask what's happening in the characters' minds. That's really where you get to be creative, and you have to fulfill the vision, because you can go in a direction that doesn't match the director's vision. So yeah, spotting sessions first. You sit down, you watch the entire film, you stop it, you ask what the director's thinking, what he's going for, you offer your ideas as far as ambience goes, or just certain sound effects, or to punctuate certain dramatic moments. So you kind of start there. Next, the very important thing is the dialogue edit, which is really just going through and clean up all the dialogue, taking alternate takes if possible. Another thing, because I work on a lot of low budget, sometimes on the first time people are using an audio person on set, or that's professional or in post, and then they hear the audio that was recording on set, and they're like, that's great, that's fantastic, we're done. I'm like, no. That might sound good for you, but to me it doesn't sound like it's there. So first dialogue edit, then it's going through doing the sound effects edit, and that even comes down to, if you have time, you should replace everything that's not dialogue on set. If you put down a pencil, it should be you putting down a pencil. Sometimes, even on big budget productions, there's not enough time, you just got to roll with some sound on set. But in the perfect world, that's what you're doing as far as the sound effects edit. Then you do some sound design, put the ambience tracks, work with the composer, and do the re-recording mix down.
So is it replace? Did you say replace? All the sound, like you can pencils?
Anything that's, if you
we were out in the woods,
yeah.
Things. You were replacing all that?
Yeah, as much as I could. With the time. So there's always time crunch, right? You're never done. There's things that I watch that I cringe, but it's always you meet your deadline. You're not really ever done.
I remember on set, like every time when we were out in the woods, like, because it's a lot of elements. Y'all know, it was this bird. One day, it was this bird. Oh, yeah. This bird just kept going, wee! And I didn't throw the rock at the bird. I just threw the rock. And it got quiet, but I was like, we good, Mike? And every time they're like, ain't cut. And I wanted to say, all right, moving on, but I had to, every time, ain't cut, Mike, we good. All right, ain't cut, Mike, we good.
And that's the thing that you need on set, right? Somebody to understand. And sometimes you have to move on, and it is what it is, because you still have to make your day at the end of the day.
Yeah. So what's going on next for you?
I have a short film I need to deliver at the end of the day today. I have a feature that's coming up that needs to be delivered next couple of days. I'm picking up a hard drive tomorrow for a web series. That's the immediate stuff anyway.
Nice. All right, just move down the line.
Use this one? Yeah.
Tyler, Kat. Oh my goodness, let me tell you all this. Tyler did the Ice Queen that you saw at the end, Ice Queen that was there, that was all Kat. We're gonna dig into that. Kat did a big favor for me, took care of that. It took how long did that take?
3.5 hours? Maybe 3.5.
3.5, all right. Yeah. And then like the brother Knight and all the ladies that he was fighting in the woods and everything, that was like Tyler. She did all of that. I put this girl through the ring like so much. She did so much. She was there, she showed up. I just wanted to give her a props, you know what I mean? But she showed up every time. She was like, we had some meetings, and she was like, all right, Nate, I got you. And then she would come and be like, how much time do I got? She's like, I got like 3 hours. You got like an hour. What are you doing to me, Nate? she came through every time. Magic Cat first. Let's talk about the Ice Queen. Can you take us through the process of how the Ice Queen came to be? Any details on the creation, like what you went through, how you go from like A to B?
Okay, first of all, you created the concept design, so you helped me out a lot. Like Nate drew, I don't know, is that called like concept design? Like you drew, and you just handed it to me. You're like, can you do this? And I was like, yes. So like, props to you for designing it, and like, of course, you know, I like looking on Pinterest and just typing in like ice and seeing things that make me feel excited, like when I feel a feeling in my heart, I'm like, okay, there's that, and then like piecing them together and figuring out how to not just, copy and paste is never the goal, but just like, putting together elements. And then something that helps me is thinking to myself and also checking in with you, the director, like adjectives, like this character, like what is the vibe? So for the Queen of Frost, it was like haunting, regal, sexy, dark, and so that helps me like connect with like what are we doing, instead of like, oh, okay, we just got to paint her blue. It's like, but like, there's more, and also like checking in with the actor, like how do you want to feel? It was played by Mariah Martin. So like we met at like 6 in the morning, and I was like, I'm gonna paint you blue, and the final thing.
Head to toe.
Yeah.
Literal toe.
Like I got in between your toes, everything, all of it. But we got to know each other really well. And the last thing I'll say is like communicating. I know that sounds really basic, but what helped me was just being really real. Like how much time do I really have, and then telling you how much more time it's going to take, and then honoring that, because just knowing on set, obviously there's a lot of people waiting on you.
Like
So
middle ground between the two.
what was that?
It's finding like a middle ground between how much time you have.
Yeah, I think most people in the film industry can agree there's never enough time, so you just do what you can. We wish for another hour, but we don't have that. Like sound doesn't have that. No one has that. So it's like, okay, how can I make the best work with the time I have? And I know you had to do that like times 10 with all the characters.
Yes.
And the last thing I'll say is like also communicating with the actor. Like I sent her an email ahead of time, like, hey, we're gonna be painting you. It's gonna be cold, so bring stuff that you can like, cover yourself with, because you're gonna be standing there getting painted. So to me that's important, because they have to like perform and wear the makeup, and like no one can do that if they're cold and hungry and in a bad mood and they didn't know, oh, I should eat before you put like black lipstick on me. So just communicating with the talent. And, yeah.
Tyler, you had more than one character to work with. So I was just wondering, like, what are some of the key elements that helped you create all the characters and, to do all of your makeup effects? What are some of the key elements that helped you do that? Put it together.
So I would say preparation is just number one. And it was so helpful that you sat with me, like we sat for hours in your apartment, and you broke down all of the concepts for me, and you told me, I'm gonna trust you, like what do you think we need to get? And everything I said, I need this, this, and this, and this, you gave me every single thing I needed. So I think like just being prepared, and I'm gonna piggyback off of what Kat said, just communicating. So preparation and communication, top two for me.
Off that as well, for both of you, because I like, when I collaborate with this idea, I come up with images, and like, I've worked with Kat before, we did like Batman Beyond, I had an idea of what I wanted some of those like characters to look like, but also I like to give you a blueprint, and then say, please use your imagination to enhance this and make it your own as well. Is that hard? Would y'all rather not do that? Is that beneficial in your creative process? Or is it like, just tell me exactly what to do and I want to do it? Or are you comfortable with taking something and just making it your own too?
Well,
That's for both of you.
For me, I feel like it's circumstantial. For this film in particular, I preferred that just because I had to juggle a lot at once. So I had preferred that you tell me, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want you to do, and I can just fulfill that. And it'll be a nice fulfillment for you, because I want to make myself satisfied with my own work, but I also want to make you satisfied, because I want to create a character that you're envisioning directing.
Okay. What about you, Kat?
I always appreciate, being able to be given some freedom, but within a container, because I don't want to just do something completely out of nowhere and be like, okay, we're rolling in 10 and I don't like the color of that, like completely. So what I really appreciate about you is, you give us a plan, but you say like, add your own touch to it. So I know that's not always the case. Some directors are not like that. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I guess that's why like a lot of directors could like to work with similar people, like their DPs, the directors of photography and cameramen and stuff like that, and makeup artists. Because like if ever I hire you ladies, I can just completely trust y'all to make my idea of what it's going to be, and throw in a little funk in there too. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. That's it. Okay, all right. And so and I don't know, like I said, I love the collaborative nature of filmmaking and stuff like that. Even in audio, like I was like taking Mike's advice, like, well, what if we do this? Like the opening scene, I asked him, I was like, do we need the music with it creeping up and then him coming out? And he's like, I don't think we need music. And he was like, maybe the whistling of the teapot will be good, and like this the flames coming on, so you know in the background there's like fire. There's like certain things. He probably put some subliminal sounds in there that you don't even hear unless you go back and listen to it. But I thought it came out great just with no like music at all, and just like his effects and you're hearing the creaking of the floor and stuff, because all that's enhanced, because it's like you're leaning in more just to see, all right, am I hearing something? Am I not hearing something? But yeah, like I said, the whole collaborative thing and trusting the people that you're working with is like key. So y'all did an excellent job.
I feel like once you find people that get you, why not work with them again? You know, like obviously still communicate because you have to communicate, but I can see why a lot of people work with the same people.
Yeah, having that second hand. Was there any favorites or favorite moments, or well, for Tyler, any favorite character that you created, like that was maybe challenging and it was fun? What's up?
The most challenging was definitely Brother Knight. He has a beard, as you can tell. The lovely Patrick Hickman. It's amazing working with you always. He's such a trooper. I put him through the ringer. I had to place 2 prosthetics on him. They're separate, so one on his cheek. And his beard had blocked me being able to dissolve the prosthetic, so I had to do like a really blunt cut, and once you do that with foam prosthetic, it looks terrible, so I had to actually get like Prozade glue, like a cream, and spackle it over. So I had to spackle medical grade glue into his beard. So yeah, there's still some right there, you'll see it. But it was just a horror trying to get it off of his beard, and I had the lovely Kat step in, and she tag teamed it with me, and she was
like 3.
we were just even Mike was helping me try to remove this because it would have taken a very long time by myself, and Kat was I'm so grateful. It was awesome. Like being able to work with her, I look up to her, I admire her. She's an amazing makeup artist. Yeah. And but she showed me tips and tricks how to remove the prosthetic without hurting my actor. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Brandon and Crystal and Joe, of course, if you want to chime in. But my goodness, if you don't have people on set that know what they're doing when it comes to fights and stunts, y'all can just imagine what'll happen, what could happen. And I've seen things happen. Back when I was younger, just like, me and my friends just doing sketches and stuff like that. Oh yeah, let's just flip off the bunk bed. I don't know how to land. No. And then hospital is what happens. Brandon, Crystal, how you doing? Good. I just want to know from y'all, if y'all tell people a little bit, what's something that you need on set? What's like the best practices for preparation for stunts and fighting on set? Like some key elements throughout the process that you need and like people need to have.
Trust.
Yes.
Number 1, look at yes, indeed.
And you need to know as a coordinator or a fight choreographer, I can hear myself echoing, so I'd assumed that it was. You need to know the skill level of your actors, because I can envision like an amazing fight that has 10 different types of martial arts happening and is happening super fast, quick beats, right? But none of my actors have ever even thrown a punch. Like I can't. That's not going to turn out well.
Right.
Luckily, like in this, you've got Julia, you've got Joe, you've got Crystal, who are all amazing stunt performers. And Crystal, Joe, and I have been doing stunts together for so long that we all know each other extremely well. We have fought each other many times, both on film and off. And so we were very fortunate in that aspect, but not everybody has that skill set.
Right.
So you've got to be able to go, okay, well, this is what we want. And we want to be able to match it to our actors. So maybe we don't do this because our actors, so let's do this instead, which is equally as exciting, but different maybe than my original view. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Hunter did such a great job of kind of giving us an outline. He's
Yeah.
you know, I want this kind of going on, and then, you know, somehow Constantine ends up over here, and he had written it out really, his fight scene in the script was great. And then we just took that and ran with it.
Yes, we did. I was gonna say, I was telling them outside before we came in, I was like, I know you didn't see it, but you know, when you wrote a fight scene, we kind of did something else with it. So, but did you like how it came out?
I did. And like I said outside, I know that you guys have the most passion for fight scenes, so I knew that when you said that was changed, I'm like, oh, definitely, because I trust you guys.
We did look at the fight script and we're like, all right, he wants this beat, this beat, this beat, this beat, and then we hit all those beats, but we hit them in our own way. It's really,
You know, something I really want to touch on real quick. Remember when we were doing, when we had the table, not table read, when we were talking about the stunts and fights, we had the actors that were going to be in there and everything. Can you tell them a little bit about how you came up with each character's, the villains, the ladies that were in the woods and stuff, like how you came up with each of your movements and how they were, the movements, I guess, for each one?
yeah, they were all three very different. We had Julia, who was playing the snake lady, the snake ghoul. We had Crystal, who was the stone ghoul, and then we had Shoshana, who was the fire ghoul. And when we were looking at it, we're like, well, they're not all going to fight the same. They don't move the same, right? Like a snake is definitely not going to move like the rock creature right next to it, right? And so by doing that, we kind of took the Avatar approach of the cartoon, not the, of like, you know, like each one of them should fight differently. So for Shoshana, she wasn't really, she's not really a martial artist. So I told her to watch the firebenders from Avatar and be like, hey, look, I just want you to kind of, don't try to learn martial arts from watching Avatar.
Right.
But I want you to learn how they're moving. And I want you to kind of move like that. Crystal playing a rock creature, we had decided that it was going to work really well for her to be more like, like a brawler, you know, like a bar brawler. Very strong, doesn't really have a lot of skill, but will just beat you senseless. And the one we made have all the skill was the snake, because she should move quick. She's very fluid. We went over weapons, and we decided on the wushu sword, because it's got that movability that she has. It's almost like a flexible fang, right? And I think we got a really cool shot with it going around the shield.
Brandon had that in his mind, and I'm so glad that it worked out exactly how he envisioned it, which is not always a thing. You always have this thing in your head, and then it doesn't end up working out. But this was like, he saw that on screen, he's like, yes!
It's very rare when the thing that's in your head appears like exactly how you imagined it on screen.
It's done for you, cool.
So yeah.
And
Crystal,
kind of what Brandon was saying about thinking of your actor skill sets, you also have to think of like, we have all these awesome fight ideas, and as stunt performers and stunt coordinators, you're like, I want to do all of these things in the fight, but that doesn't always work with your story, so you have to start with story first. Like, Constantine is not a big fighter. He fights with his mind and his magic more than his muscles and his might. And so you have to think about, well, how does Constantine approach a battle? Instead of just putting in a bunch of stunts for stunts' sake.
Because Joe's a great fighter.
Yeah.
We could easily have him fighting, but that wasn't the character. And much to, you know, like his dismay, I'm sure, because he loves doing fight scenes. But
That was part of the fun, because I had a sword, and I'm like, swords are what I do. Yeah, let's look bad.
Alright, so we're kind of short on time. I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you have coming up next? Crystal, I know you got something big coming up. I just wanted to showcase that as much as possible. What do you?
I am right now working as a tactical advisor for a AAA video game, and then working as a tactical movement specialist on another video game, and then that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Pew pew.
And that's what you can tell me about.
Crystal.
I am also working on the video game that we can't talk about beyond that. And I have a film coming out, another indie film. It's a feature. It's called The Mean One. And I play Cindy in it. I am starring in it, and it's coming out in Regal Theaters this coming week on the 8th.
Woo! Thank you all again. I appreciate it. We're going to get the cast up here. This is the crew of Constantine. First, gonna bring the stage Joe Santos. Woo! Nipples are hard. They're gonna call next to the stage Mariah Barton, Queen of Black Cross. Joey Luna, Lady Whispers. Nicole Zatana. Brother Knight. Shawnee Drake, played Aaliyah. And Arreguin. Is that right? Arreguin. Played Louise, assistant to Zatana. It's Chris in the building. Special shout out to Chris. He played the Herald, the lion voice that was the Queen's Herald. Juan Caballero played Charles. Nicole Bandit Coombs came in with special appearance as Reagan.
Yep. I don't know, I think.
I'm just gonna run down the line here if I get an answer from each of you where these questions that have these some in-depth questions I'm about to dig into.
This panel is too pretty.
Yes. Y'all look good today, man. What am I thinking? Jeez. All right. Well, first and foremost, I just want to know from each of y'all, just what's your favorite part or experience in making this project? Like most memorable moments, anything like that? Just gonna go down the line.
Just go down the line?
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. So this was a fun experience for me because I had never been fully body painted, which was very fun. Kat was incredible. My favorite memory from set, because it was all kind of a blur, but I was wearing those whiteout contacts, which are fine unless you're in direct sunlight. And as you probably noticed, the woods we were in, very sunny at most parts. So my favorite funny little story is just me in a jacket bundle because it was cold. I was in my little fuzzy slippers to not get my blue feet, you know, on shoes, which was great. And literally, like, Kat with me on her arm, like, with her as my cane trying to lead me through these woods because I could not see the ground. And that was really fun. So I really had a lot of trust in my team that day. And everyone on set was like, Mariah, there's a rock over there, don't trip. And everyone was really, really incredible to help me through it. And it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. We'll do it again.
I mean, every day was super fun on set. I think one of the most memorable moments was a lot of the stuff that Constantine wears is just stuff I wear. But this ring is actually my wedding ring, but I just moved it to my pinky just to have something on his hand. And during the fight with Crystal, there's a lot of rolling around, I'm jumping, and it's too small for this finger. And so we finished filming, and I was just looking at my hand, I was like, oh, my ring's gone. That's my wedding ring. So we were digging in the dirt for like an hour trying to find my ring, and Brandon was the one that finally found it, but that was the most memorable day on set for me. It was getting dark.
And the homeless person told us not to be there.
We knocked out my scenes in one day, so there was a lot of dialogue. And I was worried about it, to be honest. I was like, I'm the storyteller, I can't get this wrong. So, yeah, I mean, like, I think my favorite part was just, you know, working with this pro here and you guys and kind of just knocking it out.
It was so fun.
We did it so quickly, and I was really impressed. I was like, oh man, that's going to be a 3-taker for me, I don't know. But, you know, these guys are all pros, so it was really easy, and it flowed, and I had a lot of fun, and it was a good day.
It was the first time we worked together, man. You did an excellent job.
Thanks.
I think the first time we worked, you had like a little line, and then like the second time was like little.
It was like an improv one line, and then I like changed it up like every time. Yeah, totally.
Good stuff. About you, Nicole, from moments.
Which one's closer?
Hi everyone. I'll take two. I played Zatanna. The whole day was memorable. I remember getting there and like getting the costume. It was like Christmas for me. It was like getting the costume. I was like, this is dope. And did my makeup. I was like, this is so pretty. And then we got to the place and I was like, this place is so cool. I was looking at like the fanny packs and like the whole place is super cool. Nate was like, here, learn all this magic dialogue today. And I was like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay, I might screw this up a bit, which I did.
but you're very patient.
Because y'all know, those who know Zatanna, she says her magic words backwards. And on the day, I was like, oh, so we're not just gonna have you doing like flash and stuff. I need to say this stuff backwards. She's like, okay, well, hold on, just give me a pen.
And I would listen, I said, just tell me how it sounds, and then I would write it how I hear it, and then that's kind of how I learned it.
I was like,
It
the
looked dope. It looked really cool. Was that you, or you had CJ? Yeah.
No, I didn't do the octopus thing. I didn't do the Cthulhu thing coming down. I did all the hand.
Everything looked amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, congrats.
Yep.
Congrats. It was very excellent. Congrats to everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say for me, it was,
See, Pat's really a handsome man.
this is actually the makeup. Tyler put the makeup on like an hour ago. No, the makeup process was, it was a lot of fun, even though it was like at times painful, but Tyler was the best. Like, no, she took care of me, all right? No, I think just, working with just good people was always fun on set. Fun fact, first thing I ever got cast in way back like 10 years ago now?
Yeah, like 10 years.
Was through Nate, all the way back on the East Coast. But yeah, just, it was really fun playing the villain,
How far we've come.
Yeah, right. But no, just working with good people. It's like everyone's so fun on set. It's it's working. I've never done anything with like a comic book before, so this was so much fun. It was great.
I'm just
I'm
cherry
like,
pie.
stop, no, don't repeat it.
No, Johnny, hey. My favorite part, fun experience, memorable moments, highlights.
Well, I've never done a kidnapping scene before, so, and this was kind of like a really fun take on that, so I had fun doing that. I got to set and I found out I had to do a little bit more of like improvisation with the lines than I was expecting, which was a little challenge, but it was fun.
Oh, sorry about that.
I like a challenge, but I just love like any opportunity to act and be on set with other people who are like really passionate about filmmaking and acting and things like that. So the whole day was, it was really fun. I was only on set for one day for this, but I had a great time.
When you do like the role, like however you were doing, do you have to go to a certain place to be scared for real, or is it always like, we just make believe and flip a switch? Like when you're just creeping around, you got a good look on you. When you're like scared, like, hold on, mom, I'll call you back. What's going on there? So I'm just wondering, do you go to a place or just like, it's switched on
What's
off?
your secret?
I think for me it is kind of just more like switching it on and off. One method I like to use when I'm acting is like imagination and like imaginary circumstances. So I do kind of like just switching it on and off.
So at no point in time were you scared of Pat?
Well,
as good as the makeup was, I wasn't actually scared.
You never made a jump when you turned and you jumped. You never jumped for real?
Trying to like get myself to look like I was actually scared and like jumping for real was kind of a challenge.
Okay.
I wanted to make it.
Even as horrific as you look, Pat, she still trusts you. Hey, Ann, how you doing?
Doing okay, how are you doing?
All right. Was some memorable moment or
It was like, well,
experience or?
I was just so like happy that you asked like myself and Mike to do this. It's just so fun. Like I've never done a comic book type of or comic film or anything like that. I normally do a lot of comedy. So the fact of the getting to do something, we're like, okay, you're gonna look up here, there's gonna be tentacles, it's gonna be magic. That was really kind of fun because I'm like, oh, this gets put in post and I get to see this later. So that was honestly really super fun, especially getting to do something where it's like, all right, use your imagination. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome.
You know, originally the role was just silent. She would just come and like assist Zatanna and just stand there and be like, hey.
Oh, Mike would have loved that. we're dating, by the way. You'd probably be like, oh, please don't let her have any lines.
But and I had met you before, and then I was like, she has a great sense of humor and great comedic timing. I was like, and then that's why I approached her. I was like, hey, can you just do some lines for me? Is that cool? And I trust your improv with it, because like I said, I've met you, and even just in person and like not just performing, like you seem that you have a good personality and like a good comedic timing. It's part of your charm. So you did a great job. I'm glad you said yes.
Well, thank you. No, and it's like, and honestly, everyone's fantastic. It was just such an honor, and everyone's super cool. So it was really great.
Cole came through in the clutch. Let me tell y'all how we shot the Nicole scene, what was it, a week ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Joe hit her up and asked if she could come through. She came through, and very much appreciate that. I know, I was going to say, I don't know if you have any memorable moments or anything, but we were on set for about 4 or 5 hours doing this post-credit scene.
We were out there for maybe 2.
Was it 2 hours?
Maybe
Yeah,
2.
we got there at 3 and finished around 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick.
quick day.
How do you think of everything?
It was amazing. It's really cool. It was a great. I'm excited to be a part of it, even the little bit that I am.
Yes. How much of Raven do you like? That's yeah, I'm getting somewhere. There's a question in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I see you cosplaying as her as well.
Yeah, I've been cosplaying Raven for 5 years.
Okay.
She's my favorite fictional character of all time. I've read many of the 80s comics up through right before Rebirth and New 52, where I'm not as current, but...
Oh, so this is like nothing for you. You was just...
Yeah.
I'm just come and do this real quick. Have you ever been Raven on film, on camera?
Nothing except for photo shoots.
Oh, are you going to be playing Raven more? You think? Do you aim to perform as her?
I don't know.
More?
I mean, if there's a follow-up to
She's like, write
this
it.
one.
Is she? I'm there.
Very
I'm trying to we got this on tape, so I would love to have you again if you're willing.
Yeah, of course.
Any last words? Juan, what up? I just want to say before you say your what is it? Experience, your best experience, most memorable moment. Juan's scene was written as it was great. He wrote it the way I wanted to write it. Like that we agreed on. Charles was his name. Juan's character was supposed to come answer the door. He was supposed to say, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Are you Charles?" "Yeah." "I'm Constantine. Zatanna sent me," whatever. He's like, "Oh, okay." Then he was supposed to kick him out of his house, close the door. That was it. Juan's gonna come. Yes. Get out the house, close the door. I said, we can't do that. This guy, he also has charm and good comedic timing. And I just recently started working with him. And I was like, we gotta give him some lines and stuff. And I think he got the laugh. I was like, I hope they laugh when he's like knocking at the door. He needs to go. I was like, let's get that laugh. And y'all laughed at it, and I patted him on the shoulder. I was like, you got the laugh. That's all I wanted out of the whole movie.
Just a sad
like nothing else. Just laugh. So while he came on set, I told you it was longer than, you got more lines than you thought you were gonna have. Anything to say about it, like any memorable moments, any favorite?
Well, thank you for the extra lines.
Yeah.
Because that would have been awful. Just, hey, how you doing? Okay, bye.
Yeah.
No, I had a lot of fun doing it. Like, whenever I work with you, I have a lot of fun working with you. I mean, we both have, what we have in common is that precision vision of getting it right, doing it right, always keeping the audience in mind. So yeah, it was great.
Any memorable moments on set?
Memorable moments on set? Yeah, Joe was making faces at me. I'm trying to, like, be serious.
Oh my god.
And I'm like ready to laugh, and he's like, but yeah, it's had fun. Can't wait to work with you again.
Hey,
Or anybody else out there.
a little bit of time left. I don't know if anybody had any questions. Any questions? Oh, I see a hand now.
How long were you left out there?
We just let him out this morning.
We got a camera, so get him out.
No, it was a good while because, Nate, he's a busybody, and I see him turn his back and walk away. And,
hold on now.
Turn on the camera.
Turn the lights on.
Wait, where's
and Joe just like went somewhere, and I went, "Hey, do I still need to stay out here?" And Nate's like, "Oh, sorry."
I think I tried to play it off. Oh, no, we were still setting up for the next shot. My bad. But anybody, any other questions? Even if it's for like the cast or crew. Just one. All right. All right, like I said, unless there's anything y'all want to say before we go. Any other highlighted moments?
Thank you, Nate.
Put it all together.
Oh, hold on. Do I have a memorable moment?
Yeah, do you have a memorable
What's your
moment?
memorable moment?
Well, I'll tell y'all this. My memorable moment, whenever I do this, my memorable moment. No,
G-rated.
Sorry.
My memorable moment whenever I do this is always like this moment when I get to show the people who worked hard on it what they've done and what we've accomplished together. And I say this every time, because it's not been a lot, but every time I come to Comic-Con, I tell them this is my Oscar, this is my fan film, what is it, what is it, Sundance and all that. This is it for me. I don't need Sundance. I don't need Oscars. I need to get the Hall H in San Diego Comic Con. That's what I need to be. But this is my moment. This is my memorable moment, my highlighted moment, and stuff like that. So I thank y'all, everybody, cast and crew that came to help put this together, that showed up today, and that showed up every day on set. I know it's a sacrifice of time, and to me, time is life currency, and I take that very seriously, my time and everyone else's time. So for y'all to come together and give your time to this project is always humbling and appreciated. So thank y'all, appreciate it. And everybody that came out here tonight, appreciate y'all too. Thank you.